On July 1st, 2014, the same day that the Japanese government announced its reinterpretation of the pacifist constitution, the Japan Self-Defense Forces also launched its annual recruitment ad campaign. Shimazaki Haruka, aka Paruru, a member of the pop idol group AKB48, was chosen to be the campaign's spokesmodel. In August of the following year, amidst massive public protest against the new capabilities of the Self-Defense Force, erotic thriller actress Danmitsu was chosen to be Paruru's successor. I will argue today that the ad campaigns centered on these two women represent attempts to build a specific, highly gendered public image of the Japan Self-Defense Forces, but that for both cases, we can also see the precarious position of the Japanese military. Self-defense force recruitment campaigns can be read as public relations devices aimed at promoting a specific image of the SDF as nonviolent protectors of women. In addition to completely removing all hints of weaponry and combat, SDF ads generally depict women as wives, mothers, daughters, and symbols of peace in need of protection. Often even when showing female SDF members. In fact, women are far more present in SDF advertising than in the SDF itself. This leads us to the 2014 campaign. Paruru was a member of AKB48, the most successful Japanese pop idol group of all time. Though AKB is popular with consumers from all age groups and genders, as an idol group, it is linked to particular fans known for their intense devotion. Many idol fans will not only watch their favorite idols' TV and commercial appearances, but will re-watch those appearances and commercials online and share them with others to discuss their observations. Though the SDF has used pop idols before, none has been as famous across nearly all media platforms as AKB48. Thus, at the moment of a hugely controversial change in Japan's military capabilities, the choice of Paruru indicates an attempt to bring the Ministry of Defense's message to the widest possible audience by tapping into this network of sharing and repeat viewing. In her commercial, Paruru, in her white dress, is clearly not a soldier, suggesting that she is instead the object of protection. Of course, there is no sign of any risk or enemy that she might need protection from, or that her protection might require violence to be used in her name. It's hard to call this recruitment campaign a success, as it did not halt the current year-to-year decline in new recruits. Its results as a public relations maneuver are equally difficult to praise, since the following year saw massive street demonstrations organized mainly by high school and college-aged youths, which are, of course, the very demographic that makes up both the main recruitment population for the self-defense forces and for the bulk of AKB fans. In spring of 2015, with 3 months left in Paruru's tenure with the self-defense force, AKB48 announced that they would be releasing a new song entitled Boku tachi wa tatakawanai, meaning we won't fight, and that Paruru would get the coveted center position in the song's choreography and music video. It quickly became the best-selling single in Japanese history at that time. The song's message is pacifist, and so already problematic for the spokeswoman of a military trying to justify increased combat capability. More problematic, however, is the video, which shows Paruru leading idol warrior women as they take a fairly graphic beating before vanquishing their enemies. One might imagine that placing Paruru at the head of an army engaged in fierce combat, even as they sing about how they won't fight, is a parody of the SDF commercials. But even if it isn't, the images of Japanese women fighting and getting hurt are already anathema to the narrative of men protecting women that is so central to the SDF's desired public image. Between the massive upswing in popular resistance to militarism that summer and the seeming defection of their chosen spokeswomen, a change of strategy was in order for the Ministry of Defense. Enter Damitsu, an actress who has first achieved national fame through her role in the erotic film Be My Slave. While her numerous appearances on TV variety shows made her something of a household name, she generally attracted older and more predominantly male fans than Paruru. Let's take a look at the contents of her ad campaign. Damitsu's campaign, entitled Protect and Be Protected, features her in a simple blouse, talking about how, quote, one doesn't notice that one's way of life is being protected through the sweat of others somewhere far away. Damitsu is thus identified explicitly as an object to be protected. However, rather than just appearing in commercials and on posters like Paruru and the other spokeswomen before her, Damitsu also starred in a series of YouTube videos in which she spent 1 day each in the 3 branches of the self-defense forces: ground, marine, and air. A male voice introduces each video by telling us that Damitsu is putting her body on the line and showing us a report full of sweat, tears, and love. She is then given missions with the same male voice evaluating her success. She is guided through these missions, which almost invariably involve close attention to her body or mouth, i.e. crawling through an obstacle course, blowing on a special whistle, etc. She's guided through these missions by a series of male service members, except in the case of the ground self-defense force, where she is assigned to a group of women. Though they appear highly masculinized next to Damitsu's long hair, full makeup, shrill voice, and accentuated figure. Though more subtly than the films that made her famous, these episodes cast Damitsu as an eroticized female body that submits to masculine instructions. Clearly, the videos are appeals to Damitsu's fans, again, most likely males in their late 20s and older. But why go to so much trouble for such a specific group? Damitsu's decision to join the military in the face of large-scale protests suggests that her fans are generally more conservative, as this would risk alienating more progressive fans. Thus, I view this campaign as a message aimed at people who already support the Abe administration. The goal is to let conservatives know that despite Paruru's conversion, and more importantly, the Prime Minister's rhetoric on increasing women's prominence in the economy, the administration is still committed to, quote-unquote, traditional gender roles. Not only can we see a restoration of gender roles in the recentering of the protection of women, but it also explains the choice of Damitsu herself. At the start of her campaign, Damitsu met with State Minister of Defense Sato Akira to discuss her new role. In her comments, Damitsu bemoans excessive gender equality and asserts that women are best suited to a specific set of duties. Sato, in complete agreement, indicates that women should be included in the military to bring softness to the male-dominated atmosphere. The cases of Paruru and Damitsu illustrate the sophisticated ways in which the Japanese government and the Ministry of Defense use celebrities not only to convey their messages to specific groups, but also to embody those messages as women to be protected. Furthermore, they tell us that public ambivalence to militarism is strong enough to make space for spokeswomen to go off message, and that even the supporters of militarism may need reassurance. Thus, though the Abe administration's militarist agenda has gained grounds within the national diet, it is still on the defensive in the struggle to win the hearts and minds of the Japanese public. Thank you.